This is the venue of the Baegun Seogyeong exhibition, dedicated to the calligraphy of Dongnong Kim Ga-jin, one of the most esteemed calligraphers of the late Joseon dynasty. The exhibition features a significant document connected to Korea's first and largest secret organization resisting Japanese rule, the Daedongdan. This document, the Daedongdan Declaration, was written by Dongnong Kim Ga-jin, the president of Daedongdan, and distributed by its members on November 28, 1919. The Daedongdan was established in late March 1919 as the fervor of the movement spread throughout the Korean peninsula. They rejected the Japanese-era name and aimed not only for independence, but also for world peace and creating an ideal nation with the Daedongdan Manifesto and the Three Principles. Organized into 11 branches that transcended all classes and statuses to realize the value of Daedong, the power of national unity identified in the March 1st movement. The Daedongdan was the most imprisoned national organization in the history of the independence movement. But why didn't we know about their presence? The Donghwa Pharmacy in Seosomun, Seoul 100 years ago. It was the headquarters of the Yeontongje liaison system, where agents of the Korean Provisional Government in Shanghai, China, communicated in code. The Daedongdan, the largest underground organization in the country, was the key to the Yeontongje. It could happen because the organization carried out all its activities, including the formation, in secrecy. The Daedongdan was a progressive organization that was ahead of its time. It can be shown in the text inscribed by Dongnong Kim Ga-jin. This is the site of a separate house that he, as a secretary and ambassador to the Korean Empire, built following Emperor Gojong's suggestion, where he lived with his son Kim Ui-han and daughter-in-law Chung Jung-hwa, both independence activists. Surprisingly, Dongnong Kim Ga-jin, Emperor Gojong's closest confidant and reformer, was the president of the Daedongdan. Witnessing the March 1st movement that erupted in response to Emperor Gojong's funeral, he realized the limitations of peaceful struggle. After taking office as the president of Daedongdan, he prepared its first declaration, Three Principles, and resolutions. However, as the organization was greatly threatened by a thorough arrest campaign by the Japanese, the leaders, including Kim Ga-jin, planned to move its headquarters overseas. In October 1919, he went into exile in Shanghai, China, with his son Kim Ui-han. This poem shows his determination to fight for independence. Written on the day of my departure for Shanghai. Despite a broken country, lost king and collapsed shrine, I've reluctantly lived with a heart full of shame. But now, as this old body is determined to soar to the sky, I embark on a long journey to pursue that goal. Written on the train. How can I care for myself when the fate of the nation is at stake? I secretly escaped from the surveillance networks covering all over the place. Who would have recognized that a passenger wearing tatters in the third-class carriage is a previous secretary of the Korean Empire? Dongnong Kim Ga-jin chose Shanghai as a new base for Daedongdan to escape from Japanese surveillance, and defected to the Provisional Government, where he served as an advisor. Kim Ga-jin has already gathered 30,000 youth in Shanghai. He is a very sharp curse of governor-general politics. The Japanese were greatly shocked by the choice of struggle for independence made by the only secretary of the Korean Empire, who went into exile to the Korean Provisional Government. But Kim Ga-jin went even beyond that. It was an unexpected operation to exile Prince Yi-kang. Having previously met with the prince at Baegunjang, a separate house, he led the exile operation to demonstrate the nation's determination to resist Japanese coercion and walk along with the independence movement. He believed that the movement for national independence could be sparked again with the prince. However, the operation ended up failing due to the thorough investigation of the Japanese, triggering the discovery of the existence of the Daedongdan. For this reason, the organization was greatly damaged. Nonetheless, the Daedongdan didn't back down. Dongnong Kim Ga-jin wrote the Daedongdan Declaration and sent it to Korea through Na Chang-hun. Then on November 28, 1919, domestic Daedongdan members led by Na Chang-hun, Park Jung-sun, and Lee Shin-ae organized the Second Independence Movement, with the distribution of the Daedongdan Declaration demonstrating the Daedongdan spirit of a bloody fight to the last person. By the authority of 5,000 years of history and the loyalty of 20 million people, we declare and testify to the world that we are an independent nation and that we are the sovereign people. If the Japanese does not finally repent of its wrongdoings, we, the people of Korea, hereby declare that we will continue to fight with the utmost sincerity and maximum effort to the last person and the last moment, in accordance with the pledge of March 1st. On Lunar New Year's Day the following year, Dongnong Kim Ga-jin determined again to step on the ground of an independent Korea. In this regard, the Korean Provisional Government declared 1920 as the year of the fight for independence, and despite his age of over 70, he was still dedicated to the struggle for independence by distributing a fundraising solicitation letter to secure funds for the armed struggle, and establishing branches to launch the operation in advance in the country. Dongnong Kim Ga-jin, the only secretary of the Korean Empire who chose the path of the independence movement and exile, and who never shied away from a life of hardship in a foreign land. The Korean Provisional Government honored him with a state funeral, paying the highest tribute to him. Despite having the most decorated members in a single organization, Daedongdan is still not found even in a textbook. As a generation living in a world that they dreamed of 100 years ago, it is our duty to correct and remember the gradually disappearing history of the Daedongdan. We will not forget. We will remember, and we will carry on. A nation that forgets its past has no future.